This is Tim Bryce with my column titled, Are IT Workers Blue Collar? Interesting question. I was recently asked this by some executives who were concerned with improving the productivity of their IT departments. I asked them to explain why they thought this was. They contended their IT people, such as analysts and programmers, exhibit a lot of blue-collar characteristics. For example, repetition in types of work performed, they do not dress or act like professionals, and regularly punch in and out of work with little interest in going above and beyond the call of duty. I countered there were two other aspects to consider. First, blue-collar workers tend to perform manual labor, and second, they are non-exempt workers who are paid an hourly wage. Also, they tended to be less educated than white-collar workers. They told me I was being naive, that blue-collar workers can perform technical tasks as well as manual tasks, such as those found in manufacturing and assembly. And although they are classified as exempt workers paid a salary, they tend to behave like hourly workers instead. Further, there are plenty of blue-collar workers who were just as educated, if not more so, than a lot of the programmers and analysts on their staffs. One executive even went so far as to tell me about a couple of craftsman machinists he had with MBA degrees. Frankly, I had a hard time refuting their arguments. This is actually an old concept, one which I haven't heard in quite some time, back in the 1980s when there was talk of unionizing programmers. Nonetheless, it should cause us to pause and think how IT people are regarded in the boardroom. To me, it suggests a credibility gap between management and IT and helps explain why a lot of jobs are being outsourced. In recent years, I've met a lot of people who have abandoned corporate IT shops and have opted to become consultants instead. It's not that they didn't like their companies, they simply became disenchanted with how IT departments were being run, read the writing on the wall, and figured it was time to bail out before they were outsourced. So who is at fault here, management or IT? If management truly perceives IT workers as blue-collar, then there will be a great temptation to give the work to shops overseas at greatly reduced cost. There are those in the IT field who believe unionization is the route to take. As far as I'm concerned, this would be the kiss of death to corporate IT shops, as executives would rather outsource than be held hostage to a union. Instead, I believe IT workers should do some soul searching and ask themselves how they can differentiate themselves from their foreign counterparts. Technical knowledge alone will not do it any longer. Outsourcers have already demonstrated their technical skills are on a par with ours. No, the answer is they must demonstrate how the IT department adds more value to the company than an outsider can. This means they have to become more serious about their work and produce better IT solutions more quickly, correctly, and less expensively. Anyone can apply quick and dirty Band-Aid solutions. What is needed is a higher caliber of professionalism and improved skills in management. The IT workers have to work both harder and smarter. In other words, job assignments have to be performed in a more professional and craftsman-like manner, methodically with a quality consciousness. This requires a more disciplined, organized, and professional attitude, which is the exception as opposed to the rule in a lot of IT shops today. If IT can demonstrate they behave more like white-collar professionals, executives will become dependent on them and will be less likely to outsource their jobs. Ideally, you want to hear executives say, "I can't live without these guys," meaning the IT department. But if executives perceive you, the IT worker, as nothing more than a blue-collar worker, then your story is told. Think I'm kidding? Consider this. I know a large manufacturing company in the U.S. Midwest who had a pressing IT project not long ago. Knowing he was short on staff, the CIO appealed to the executive board for additional funding for more personnel. Basically, the board gave the CIO carte blanche to hire as many people he wanted at generous wages, with whatever job title the workers wanted. But the CIO was explicitly told, when the project is over, fire them. Do you think these executives had a high regard for IT people? So, are IT workers blue collar? Look in the mirror and you tell me. Friends, keep the faith. This is Tim Bryce in Palm Harbor, Florida. Follow me on the internet at timbryce.com.